Hello everybody, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I have been asked to do a tutorial, which just tickled me no end, made me feel so good. And I am really excited about this one. This is one that my husband even looked at and went, wow. Because I still consider myself a beginner. Maybe not a beginner, but maybe an intermediate beginner. So there's still so much for me to learn. But I am loving the fact that I can share this with you. We're going to do what they call a diagonal slice. So we're going to start with a fence rail. Each strip is 2.5 inches long. Okay? So, I have made a 4-strip fence rail. So to start with, we need some 2.5 inch strips. And you can cut these out of your stash. And I love, love, love this ruler. It's the Fiskars. And it makes it so easy to measure things just perfectly. Okay? So, but we are going to do 2.5 inch strips. And I've already got these sewn together. If you don't know how to do a fence rail, there is another video that you could watch. And it goes step by step. One thing I did learn, and I didn't know this, and this would explain why my blocks were always wonky, kind of, you know, twisty. I sewed this way, and then that way, and then that way. You just basically alternate the direction that you sew so that your seams are, okay? So, our block measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 inches. Okay? So that means we need it to be 8.5 inches wide as well. Okay? Too easy, right? Then, you are going to take a straight edge and corner to corner. Okay? And I know this is the scary, scary, scary part. When you've worked hard to make this so nice and so cute, here we go. You're going to slice it corner to corner. Okay? All right, so we have sliced it from these corners. Now, let's slice it from these 2 corners. And I do always have a preferred way of my direction, but from this corner to this corner, now this corner to this corner. Okay? Ta-da! Alright, now, let's put those aside, and let's do this to another one. Because this block needs to have 2 fence rails to make up 4 sections. Alright, so let's cut those. Again, corner to corner. Alright, so I've cut the other one out. And now it's just a matter of putting these together. Okay. The corners. Like so. Ta-da. 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 So far, so good. Now, in my opinion, I guess if you wanted to switch them around, you know, that's fine, but thing is you're doing the same fabrics, so there's really no big deal. Then you're going to sew these together. Okay? So you're just going to sew those down. That one down. That one. And that one. Okay. And I'm going to pin these. I pin like nobody's business. Alright, so I've got all these pinned, and I'm just going to sew down each of them along this side. I have got a 1/4 inch piecing foot, but you don't really need to have one. Okay, so that's just a 1/4 inch piecing foot. I have found it very helpful. They're not terribly expensive, but you don't have to have one. Just make sure you're at a 1/4 inch seam, okay? So we're just going to sew these down. Then we'll go press them, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, so let's finish those up, press them, and I'll see you back in a minute. Alright, so we're at our ironing board. We have our squares. And I'm going to press them towards, I'm going to press them away from my vertical lines, and I'm going to press it towards this horizontal. So the first thing you want to do is set the seam. And this is what's called setting the seam. And this is warm. Alright, and that's one down. And we're just going to do that to all of them. I think those of us who are, a little older will remember the old Rice Krispie Treat commercials, where the lady goes into the kitchen and reads a romance novel or something. She makes up the Rice Krispie Treats, comes out with flour and her hair all messed up, and the kids in the family like, oh, wow, Mom, you spent so much time doing that. It's so good. And it was something so easy. I love these patterns where you're cutting. You're doing a simple pattern, like a 9-patch or a fence rail. And then it becomes something that looks really difficult. So that when my husband comes down to see what I'm working on and he looks at that and he goes, wow. So these definitely have a wow factor. Alright, let's go back over to the cutting mat where we're going to pin. So I'll see you over there. So we've got these cut. This is going to be your center. Okay, so remember, this came from, all of these blocks came from the same strip of 4 fence rail, okay? Which I think is pretty neat, and you get things that look different. Now what you're going to need to do is sew these together. So you're going to sew it on this side, and you're going to sew on this side. Now, you're going to notice we have some seams here. Okay, so this one's coming this way. This one's coming this way. That means we can nest those seams. Just put that right up there. Okay? And it's going to match up beautifully. And you can feel it. If you're not on center, it's going to be real bumpy, but if you've got it right in the nesting, right inside seam, it'll be nice and smooth. Okay? And I also like to put my starting point. I'm real bad for letting my fabric slip. Alright, now I'm going to need to kind of finger press this way so that I can nest that one. Okay, got my finger down there. I can feel it's nice and smooth. Okay, I hope you can see that. Hold it down because I don't want it slipping. I'm real bad for things slipping. Okay, and we're just going to sew that down. Do the same thing to this side. Okay, so why don't we go do that, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll take the next step. Okay, so I've taken my 2 halves and I have pinned them down, matching up as many of the seams as I can. There, and then there's one here, center seam, and then these seams over here. Okay, okay, then we're just going to sew this seam down and we'll have this finished. Alright, so we've sewn our pieces together, then sewn our quarters together, and this is what we end up with. Okay, not too bad. Now all that's left is to square it up according to either what you want, or if you're doing this for a swap or for a special project, to square it up to whatever the directions say. And for that, you're going to want a square. Okay, and to square it up, you're going to see that the Omnigrids and different things. This is a Get Squared by Tailor. So you've got Tailor, Get Squared. You've got Omnigrid. You know, there's any number of them. You're going to have these diagonals. Well, what makes this nice is you can square that up by making sure that your diagonal line on your grid is following that seam. Okay? And that way you know this is a good square, and that's going to be right there in the corner. Okay? Now, like the pianists and, you know, football players and violinists and, I mean, doctors, they have to practice. All right? They don't just suddenly be perfect first go out. It takes practice. I need a lot of practice. But this is the one I made, diagonal slice, 2.5-inch strips, 4 of them, making a fence rail, and then slicing corner to corner, and then just kind of sewing them together. Okay? Now I want to show you one I did earlier. So this is a fandom. I know some people who like Doctor Who, and I thought that would be kind of neat to do. And I'm kind of thinking maybe it might be kind of neat to, you know, have one of these be Doctor Who, maybe have another one be Harry Potter. Now these, again, I did the fence rail, but I've made them 4 inches. So you're going to see that my 4-inch fence rail is a lot bigger than my 2.5-inch strip fence rail turned into the diagonal slice. So, you go to your fabric, find some pretty colors, start cutting, start creating. have fun with it. That's the #1 thing. Go have fun. Enjoy. Enjoy your time with your machine. Enjoy your time with the fabric. Trust me, the fun and enjoyment that you have while you're creating it will come out. And so you make a couple little mistakes. You know, life is where you know it won't end. But have fun with it. That's the #1 rule. Have fun with it, and I'm so glad you came. Don't forget to come back. So this is Crazy Dave's crew, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. And I hope I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.